Segment 3, Gold and Black Live. I want to thank our sponsor, State Farm agent Trent Johnson. TrentIsMyAgent.com, and Hilton Garden, Christy Kuntz, and the good folks down there. When tomorrow's a big day, State HGI tonight. John Basham and the folks at Basham Reynolds, I know they're already working on 2017-18, if you can believe that. And John will be front and center in Mackey Arena in his seats here before that first exhibition game on the 1st of November. And, of course, Greg and Kerry Ayersman, our friends at Triple X, on the hill, but on the level, a Purdue tradition since 1929, and we were. It seems like it's been a month since we've been there with President Mitch Daniels, and had a good visit there as well. All right, Brian, we'll turn the talk to basketball, and the Boilermakers from the men's side are working to get ready for. And I don't. I'm asking a question I don't even know the answer to here on when is the West Virginia scrimmage? When is that set up?
I don't have a date. I don't know.
And have they said they don't really? I know they can't publicize it, and they really don't make a big deal out of when it would be, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll
know.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still resonating from the choking on the Altoid in the last segment.
But obviously, the Boilermakers, they have a scrimmage tomorrow, which you'll have some video of as Purdue will scrimmage in Mackey Arena, and you'll have a chance to look at what's been your impression so far and what you've seen. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Carson Edwards and Vincent Edwards on down the line, but what's jumped out at you?
Yeah, I just think they certainly have the potential to be a better offensive team than they were last year. I think the ability to play different styles, play different types of lineups really is a game changer for them. I think they could be more responsive to difficult matchups defensively, which might offset some of their transition to a new defense, which is a humongous question for this team, is whether or not how they're going to stop people because their identity's gone with A.J. Hammonds and Rafael Davis. So they're going to have to figure something out. But I think this could be a situation where the better defense is a good offense. And, Purdue has a lot of pieces in place. This is, we talk all the time about the front court, and Caleb Swanigan's going to be really good this year.
Yeah.
Vincent Edwards has been really good in the practices I've been to since practice started. Like really good, like all Big Ten good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Purdue
You put him on your All Big Ten team,
I did.
right? Yeah,
I did.
For
I think
magazine.
Purdue has 2 All Big Ten forwards, and that would put their third best frontline player as Isaac Haas, who averaged 27 and 10 over 40 minutes last season. Not that that's a valid stat, but this is also Purdue's best core of shooters Matt Painter's ever had. And when I say best, probably the highest quality, but also the deepest. There's not a guy in that entire backcourt who can't shoot the basketball. I think you're going to have point guards who are more confident, who are more comfortable, who are more assertive. I think you're going to have a bunch of guys all across the board who are more assertive. Vincent Edwards, Dakota Mathias, P.J. Thompson, Ryan Klein all come to mind. So I really think this is going to be a better offensive basketball team than it was a year ago. And that's going to offset some of their transition that they're going to experience on defense. Because that's kind of if you had to put it in one sentence, better offense, we'll see about defense. That's kind of what my impression so far.
Ryan Klein and Dakota Mathias are 2 guys that we don't probably just by the nature of the kind of players they are to some extent. We don't talk about them. We've talked about everybody else. We've talked about Carson Edwards. We've even talked to some about Jaquil Taylor and some of the improvements he's made. But what about those guys? What have you seen out of them?
Well, they're both shooting the ball really well. If Dakota Mathias can just stay healthy, if he can just go 6 months without getting sick,
yeah,
he would be fine. He would be what he was at the end of last season all the time. Now,
which was pretty good.
That's not necessarily true because he got consistent minutes there after what I call the shooting guard hunger games early in the season, where they were playing too many shooting guards because they had 3 of them and they were all very similar. And once Kendall Stevens' situation resolved itself, that really empowered Mathias and Ryan Klein. And I thought both guys got better because of that. But at the end of the year, Dakota Mathias was healthy, confident, playing consistent minutes, and that's his normal to start this season. And I think when he's aggressive and he's empowered, for lack of a better term, he's really good. And I think Ryan Klein, was really playing good basketball at the end of the year last year, was really comfortable. But I still think last year for him was more about fitting in than standing out. And I think this year, maybe it flips. I think he's more confident, he's bigger, he's stronger. He's going to have a little bit of a different mentality. I think he's going to be more aggressive too. And I think you're going to see guys who make more plays than they did last year because they're going to be looking to make plays as opposed to just kind of, being part of the overall operation.
Spike Albrecht and P.J. Thompson obviously are going to. P.J. Thompson will probably have the yeoman's amount of the minutes, but what have you seen from those guys early on? And obviously Albrecht looks to be a pleasant addition, just a guy that can help stabilize some things.
Yeah, Spike Albrecht, when he first got to campus, no, he can't play. If you just saw him, you're like, no, forget it. He can't play. He's taken up a roster spot. Obviously, he was coming back from a very long recovery from his hip issues. He didn't shoot the ball very well in Spain. Since preseason practice started, he's been an entirely different guy from what I've seen. He looks healthy. He looks aggressive. He looks comfortable. He's shooting the ball far better than he ever did. I think something interesting, a couple players have mentioned this offseason that Purdue has put a little more ball screen stuff into their offense. Now, that's always been – there's been opportunities for that in their motion offense, but I don't know if that's more designed stuff for their guards, because that's what Spike Albrecht's used to, and that might be what makes Carson Edwards, what puts him in the best positions to score. Because when Carson Edwards is out there, not to take this from Spike Albrecht to Carson Edwards, but when he's in there, Purdue is going to want him being aggressive. And he's really good when he's aggressive. If you've seen him in practices, there are times where he's just, the best, most aggressive, most fearless player on the floor. And I wonder, it'll be interesting to see how Purdue changes what it's doing offensively when he's in there, because Purdue's going to have to live with some 27-footers with 20 seconds on the shot clock before Caleb Swanigan and Isaac Hassan touch the ball. That's just the way it's going to be as he gets comfortable, as he learns, good shot, bad shot. Somebody said yesterday there's going to be, some traditional fans who are going to, kind of bristle at Carson Edwards maybe early, because he's going to be he's going to play basketball like a Mountain Dew commercial. He's going to be all over the place, and he's going to be making plays and going 100 miles an hour. But that's what makes him good, and that's something Purdue's not had, especially not lately. And they've got a really dynamic backcourt scorer now to go along with all its strength in the front court, and it's going to be an interesting balance to see how that all, kind of comes into balance.
All right, there'll be much more on that as the fall progresses here and the Boilermakers get started. Again, I think the first exhibition game November 1st, and then the season opener November the 11th, and everybody looking kind of already to that Villanova matchup on the 14th, as Villanova will come calling a top 5 team in Mackey Arena, which will be a big challenge for Purdue from the get-go. So we want to thank our sponsors, and that, of course, Triple X and John Basham and the folks at Basham Rental, Hilton Garden Inn, State Farm agent Trent Johnson. I want to thank Gordon and Cammie for hanging in there today and troubleshooting. Scott even as well, even though Scott's coming in now. We appreciate everybody that helps us here at WLFI. Gordon, we'll look forward next week. Kathy Wright-Eager will join us as one of our guests at least next week. And we always like having Kathy on. She's so close to the student athletes and can really give some indication of things that she can share and from a broad strokes perspective of what some of Purdue's football players have gone through in this transition. We always enjoy having Kathy on, and we'll be talking more football and basketball next week, same time on Gold and Black Live.
I think you just embarrassed Scott.